Hello, 7th grade math students. This is beginning Module 2. So when you're getting into your Module 2 about application of rational numbers, when you click in, you're going to see all of the topics that you need to study. And so in preparation for your discussion-based assessment, I definitely want you to look in the dividing rational numbers. And I want you to be able to use the different properties and being able to multiply and divide fractions. Okay, so here's a special one here where you've got 3 1/2 divided by 1/8. I want you to be able to explain to me how you would divide a whole number and a fraction and a mixed number by a whole number and a mixed number by a mixed number. So some of that is a review from 6th grade, but some of that is a little bit of a difference when you're talking about fractions and the division. So going into converting rational numbers, I want you to be able to walk me through and discuss how you change fractions into decimals. And I want you to pay particularly close to that process and that division. So when you have a fraction that you're dividing the denominator, how many times will that denominator divide the numerator? And if you have a fraction like 3/8, notice the decimal is going to be less than 1. If you have 8/3, then you would have something that's larger than 1. So be able to change to the different forms. I want you to be able to recognize what's a terminating decimal. Where would it be placed on a number line? And be able to recognize a repeating decimal. And so when you think about when you do that division, when you're changing from a fraction into a decimal and that quotient stops at 32 hundredths, then you know it's going to be a terminating decimal. If you're dividing 1/3 and you know, well, 3 is going to divide 1 less than 1 time, but then you see the quotient, the number just continues to repeat, then you know that it's a repeating decimal and we can put the repetend bar over that number. I also want you to be aware of when you would have a repeating decimal and when you wouldn't. And that is all about your denominators. So once you think about, this is a good rule right here, is how can you tell if a rational number will have a repeating decimal? And that's the idea, is if it's not a factor of 10 or 100 or 1,000. And so if you're finding that your denominator is a multiple of 3, then you know that it's going to repeat. Or 6 is a multiple of 3, 9 is a multiple of 3. So anytime you see that multiple family there, you're going to see repetition. And then finally, I want you in your real world, rational numbers in the real world, I want you to be able to take a percentage of a number, and I want you to be able to tell me about a discount. And so I may give you a discount similar to this, where you've got a 25% off or a 60% off, and I want you to talk me through how you would find the amount that's off, and then what are you going to do with that number to find your new total amount. So, if you're purchasing something for a certain amount and you have a discount, then you know that's going to be less. Now, we're not talking about taxes yet. Taxes will come in the next module, but I'm just talking about taking a percent of a number, and then what are you going to do with that amount to figure out your new value? And so subtraction is going to be part of that. And there's a couple of ways to do that, but I definitely want you to be able to take a cost that I give you, find the discount, subtract it, and tell me what that new cost would be. And that will lead you to the end of that module. So those are big points, highlights in Module 2 that will help you with preparation for your discussion-based assessment.